Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your energy forecast and oracle reading for this new week. Sorry there was no video last week. I was just not well last week, Monday, but here we are, much better. Okay, so let us get some cards out for this new week ahead. Let's see what comes up for the beginning of the week. Let's pick a tarot card here and let's have a look. We have the Two of Pentacles. Now if you look at this lady, she appears to be juggling what looks like two purses or two money bags, right? So when I tune into the energy of this, I'm getting a feeling of, yes, juggling, like juggling. So we might be feeling like we've got lots of things in the air at the moment that we're busy juggling. So maybe we're trying to juggle our work, our responsibilities, our families, our homes, our children, our studies. We're trying to juggle everything at the moment, and it just feels like busy, busy, busy. So Spirit is saying in the beginning of the week, can we just try to take a bit of a deep breath and not feel the urge to do, but rather to surrender and to allow, instead of being busy and do, okay? Because we're being reminded here that we're human beings, we're not human doings. And Spirit is reminding us here again that we do without doing and everything gets done. So in other words, no forcing, no pushing, just more of a relaxed, go with the flow energy. And I'm hearing Spirit say, whatever it is that you have to deal with in the beginning of this week, don't overthink it before you've even got there. Just show up. So whatever you've got going on, a business meeting or something you have to go and do, something you have to attend to, something you have to sort out, don't overthink it. Just show up and trust that you'll manage whatever is there in front of you, okay? I'm also hearing Spirit say adapt or adopt, but adapt came out for a reason. Adopt a more like playful approach to things. Spirit is saying once again, we've been way too serious. We need to lighten up just a little and adapt with adopting a more playful approach, if that makes sense. We cannot be as serious as we are. Okay, let's get some further elaboration from the wisdom of the oracle. I'm also hearing finding the balance in the beginning of the week. Find the balance between your responsibilities and rest, responsibilities and self-care, finding the balance. Okay, wisdom of the oracle, this one pops out. Okay, here this one says deep knowing. And I'm hearing Spirit say here with this one, trust the niggle, okay? Because they're saying we're needing to become a bit more in tune with the way that we're really feeling. We need to be a bit more in tune with our gut, okay? So again, we've got the monkey mind saying, go, do, but your gut is saying, I don't wanna. So trust the niggle, listen to your gut. If your gut is saying to you, no, then you have to trust that, surrender to that feeling. They're not trying to say we must now abandon all of our responsibilities and do nothing all day. That's not what they're saying. They're just saying there's a better approach, right? There's a better approach. We can't live the way we have been living. If the last 2 years has taught us anything, it's taught us, to slow down, to catch our breath, to not have to do and go all the time. So trust your inner knowing to guide you, on how to work a bit smarter, how to show up better so that you're not overextending yourself, you're not killing yourself to get things done, okay? Trust your inner knowing of what you know and feel is good and right for you, okay? Because when we do that, everything just seems to fall into place. Okay, let's get some guidance now from the Starseed Oracle. I just love this deck. There's such a beautiful energy about it. It says the void, stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb. Okay, now this makes sense to me. This makes sense. We're needing some time for stillness and for some quiet. because they're saying energetically at the moment, it's like we're in the in-between. We're in the in-between. It's like we're back now in like a holding space of sorts, okay? Spirit is calling this the space between contractions. It's like in a labor, a contraction is what makes the baby move out into the world. Then there's a pause. And there's going to be a contraction again, which makes the baby move, okay? So in that pause, in that void, it gives us time to catch our breath. It gives us time to reflect, to pause, to gather up a bit more energy. So we've got the energy again for when the next contraction starts, you see? And I don't mean contraction in a negative way, I mean it as in being pushed forward. And it's so interesting that they're using a birth analogy, because that's obviously what's on this card. Great cosmic womb, okay? I feel like I need to read out the meaning of this card. I'm obsessed with this deck at the moment. So if I'm obsessed with it, so are you going to be. Okay, let's read it out. The void. Where are you? Sorry, please bear with me. Your call is very important to us. Okay, it says, everything and nothing exists in the void. It's where all life begins and ends. It's the winter and the womb, the fertile darkness where all things originate and all seeds grow. Comforting and intimidating, freeing and daunting. It can feel both overwhelmingly small and huge. The void is where faith lives. The message of the void is to surrender to the unknown, to allow the fertile darkness of nothingness to nourish the new seeds growing within you. Regardless of whether you know what they'll one day become, you've been called to surrender to the mystery of what's next, to rest, and to allow the winter of your life to do the work for you, to hand over your control, and to trust that just because you can't see what's happening beneath the surface, it doesn't mean things aren't at work. The greatest weavings happen when we find a way to surrender and trust that our life is being knitted for us. Right beneath the surface, in ways known and unknowable, now is the time to cultivate faith and allow deep, deep rest. The void often surfaces at the end of a chapter or life phase, when we're called to let go of that we know and identify with. When you're in the void, it can feel scary and as if you should be doing something. However, when this card appears, it's a sure sign that the most productive thing to do is to relinquish control and surrender to the changing mystery of your life. The soul inquiry is, how are you being called to surrender to the unknown mystery of your life? How beautiful is that? So when I tune more into that, I feel like our lives are changing. Whether we like it or not, we are changing. We are shedding the old. We're always doing this, it feels like. It's not a once-off, okay? We're shedding the old. We're letting go of old patterning, old ways of being, old ways of thinking, so that we can kind of surrender to what's new and what comes next as a result of the work that we've been doing on the inside. But in between there is this in between. So if you feel like nothing's happening at the moment, oh, there is underneath the surface. Again, think of that seed analogy. When you plant a seed, you feed it, you water it, nothing's happening, you walk away and you find something else to do. Okay? Let the universe decide when that little seed is going to sprout. Because even though on the surface of the soil it looks like nothing's happening, but underneath the soil there's a lot going on. You just can't see it yet. Okay, so be patient. I'm hearing Spirit saying you're going to get what you want. Just be patient. Okay. Now let's get some tarot guidance here for the middle of the week. What guidance, what energetic influence is here for the middle of the week? What is the weather for the middle of the week? We have the Five of Swords. And as we go into the void, as we go into the stillness, all sorts of stuff comes up, okay? So that's also another reason why a lot of us like to be busy, busy, busy and go and do, so that we don't have to think. But we can't avoid what lies beneath, okay? So here, you might find in the middle of the week some old thoughts, old memories, old hurts. But they're saying it's not so much the event that will come up, but it's more how we feel about it. that will come up as a trigger, okay? And Spirit is saying release. As it comes up, observe it. Thank you for being here. Off you go. Don't build a house in it. Oh, here comes another old hurt, old pain, old memory. I'm being triggered. Oh, hello. Thank you very much. Off you go. Just observe it, release it. Don't sit and stew over it. Don't sit and stew about, well, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, beat myself up, pity party. No. Let it come up, feel it, heal it, release it, and off it goes. Get on with your day. I'm hearing Spirit say. Okay, so there's that. Now let's get some wisdom from the wisdom of the Oracle to see how can we navigate this. Oh, hold on. I've never noticed this before. Just going back to this card. This man is sitting here listening to that crow. He's overthinking, and that crow I would imagine to be his little inner goblin, his little inner demon, his little wound that's saying, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you've made messes before, me, okay? But he's so busy looking at that, but he doesn't see this guy in the background who's climbing what looks like a mountain and living his flipping best life, okay? So what I'm getting with this card is you're going to get over whatever challenges lie in front of you. You're going to get over it. So stop the overthinking and get over it. Walk over it. You can do it, I'm hearing. Don't overthink it. Overthinking is an absolute waste of time. And I speak from experience because I am the worst overthinker on this earth. If there was a prize for overthinking, I would get it. Okay, okay, let's get some wisdom from the Oracle. Let's see, what do we have for the middle of the week? This makes sense. We're getting this card often. It says, clean it up, okay? So I'm hearing Spirit say, okay, they're saying quite loudly, stop it. Stop beating yourself up. Stop overthinking. Stop with the victim mentality. Stop it. It's not serving you. Step into your power instead, because they're saying we can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So, as a trigger comes up, as we go into this overthinking, let us approach it differently this time, okay? Because in case we haven't noticed, maybe the way we've responded before hasn't really worked so well. So let's choose a different path this time. Let's clean up our thought processes. Let's clean up our objectives, and let us not dwell there again. I'm getting this, don't dwell there, okay? Move forward. Let's clean up our act. Let's clean up our thought processes, and let's get focused, because they're reminding us here that our mind, our brain, is literally the most powerful tool that we could ever have. It really is. And it's so vital, as the saying goes, to make the mind a faithful servant rather than a dangerous master. Okay? Our minds can do to us what we allow. Also think of the mind like an untrained puppy. If you just let it run riot, it's going to create chaos. But if you train that puppy, it'll be happy and it'll serve you. Okay? The mind is the same. So I'm asking Spirit, okay, let's be practical about it. How can we be practical about cleaning up our mess, cleaning up our mindset, cleaning up our talent for overthinking and being stuck in the past? How can we clean it up? I was expecting a profound, deep answer. And the answer I got was, just choose a different thought. You know, Spirit, they always give us such simple, common sense answers. It's like we expect something really enormously profound and deep. It's going to be hard work, which we won't end up doing because it's hard work. But they always give us something simple. So they're saying, choose a different thought, choose a different thought, choose a different thought. Every time you're tempted to think the same old way, react the same old way, expect the same old expectation, choose differently. They're saying it's easier now to change our minds, to change our mindset, which gets us into a totally different frequency, which leads us to a totally different paradigm, which leads us to a totally different trajectory, so that our life can go in a different way. Spirit is saying, change your mind, change the thought, Shift it to, well, what if things work out? What if things go great? What if there's the best case scenario here? Put your mind there, because focusing on what is the worst that could happen will literally manifest that. Spirit is saying now the energy we're dealing with now is so, again, incredibly supportive that when we visualize and focus on a specific outcome and it feels good, that's what it will be. Okay, so let us change our stories, change our thought processes. So just because we've got a little bit of time to think in the beginning of the week does not mean we must now overthink. Okay, so this one just had to fall on the floor, didn't it? Okay, so as I was shuffling the Starseed Oracle for further wisdom, we get trust the timing, trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. We have all the time in the world to do what we need to do. And I'm hearing go slowly again, go slowly. No rushing, no rushing. Okay, trust the process. All right, now let's see what energetic weather do we have for Friday and the weekend. I know we have a new moon in Aries. I think it's on Friday, which I think is going to bring in such a breath of fresh air, because Aries energy is let's move forward, let's start new things, let's get it done, excitement. And new moons, obviously, new beginnings. Okay, so let's see what guidance is here for Friday and the weekend. We have the Lovers. Okay, now when I tune into the energy of this card, I get fire, passion, moving forward, making some big choices, making some big decisions, and doing more of what gets you fired up. Okay, so Spirit is saying towards the end of the week, if you're faced with decisions, choose what's in your heart, choose what feels good, choose what gets you fired up. That's the right choice for you. Okay, I'm also hearing passion awakened. So let's say, for example, in your career, you've been feeling a bit meh, or you've been just generally lack of purpose, lack of sparkle. They're showing that that sparkle, that fire, that inspiration is starting to return. And we'll feel that come in on Friday and the weekend, which brings with it the new moon. So that makes sense. It coincides very nicely. Getting fired up again about life, forward movement. Okay, let's see what guidance is here from the wisdom of the Oracle. Flexible. I love this card. Please notice the egg. Eggs always represent new beginnings. And we need to be flexible about these new beginnings. So whether the new beginning is a new job, a new house, a new partner, a new child, or whatever it is that's new that you're bringing into your world, be flexible with it, okay? Again, go slowly, take your time. There's no need to rush your new, because you're new. We're new humans. We've all evolved enormously. So let's be flexible and be patient with ourselves. Okay, now let's get some wisdom from the Starseed Oracle. What guidance is here for Friday and the weekend? This card sticks out. We have breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. And don't we love doing that? This is where the flexible comes in. Let's be flexible. We don't need to tell the universe how to do things. The universe is flipping intelligent, right? Our job is to just know what we want. Okay, so let's read out this message. I love this card. Okay, where are you? Breath of the cosmos. It says, when we rely only on our will, we're micromanaging the universe. Let me start again here. Sorry, lost my place. When we rely only on our own will, we're micromanaging the universe and resisting the natural flow of life. We're not trusting the mysterious breath of life. We're rejecting the great cosmic intelligence and relying instead on our personal strength. When we do this, we find ourselves attempting to bend things to our will. Notice this auntie bending quite nicely there. Attempting to bend things to our will. We spend our time forcing, pushing, and living from a space of trying to, everybody around us can feel it, and the universe can too. You've been called to stop micromanaging the universe and trust the breath of life, to surrender to the greater will that God has for you, to move from my will to thy will. When you surrender to the greater will of life, you begin dancing with the rest of life. When you bow to the great mystery and say, please use me, please show me the way, little by little, you find yourself living your most fulfilling, authentic life. When you surrender your personal will, when you relinquish control and release the way you think things should be, and surrender to the greater will, you find yourself being led. You begin breathing the breath of life, okay? And here's a little activation here. It says, I am willing to stop relying on my own strength and personal agenda and instead surrender to the breath of life. Dear God, Creator, Universe, help me move from my will to thy will. Please lead me. Please show me the way. How beautiful is that? And how profound. So just on a personal note, over this last, I'd say maybe week or two, just to show you that us light workers and psychics and healers, and we're not flippin' perfect, eh? We all have our own shit going on. Sorry for my Swahili, but this is me being absolutely raw, real, and honest with you, okay? In the last 2 weeks, I have faced 2 of my biggest fears. 2 of them, okay? In 2 weeks, right? So the universe was like, let's teach you, let's open you up in bulk, okay? So 2 things, and they are things that I've been terrified of pretty much my whole entire life, okay? And when I overcame them, I had such a physical reaction. That's why last week I just wasn't really in a very good space to do a video or anything like that, or anything beneficial to you, that's for sure. And I had such a physical reaction, such a physical purge from what I had processed and released and faced and overcome. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm looking back thinking, what was I being so dramatic for? And that was me being in resistance. Because the moment I have to face a fear, and all of us humans are like this, the moment we come up against a fear, that little voice that says, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you can't do this, wah, 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 okay? We literally knock up against it, okay? But when we soften the resistance, we surrender, and we do what's in front of us anyway, with the thought of, okay, God, I give this to you, you sort this out, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, I'm just a human, you deal with this. Trust me, it clicks into place. To the point where you look back and think, what was the fuss even about? And once we then release that bondage of that fear, that limitation, suddenly we have this newfound freedom that we don't quite know what to do with, right? So for me, this week feels like that. It feels like more of that energy where we're coming up against our fears because we're afraid. We now have to micromanage the universe. The outcome can only be like this. And it causes us flipping anxiety and stress and sleepless nights and all the rest that goes with it. Whereas if we just say, okay, this is what I need to do. I'm being intuitively guided, intuitively pushed to do this. Let me just do it and surrender, and whatever will be, will be. Trust me, it works out beautifully. Okay? Speak from experience. That's why, people always ask me, why are you so wise? Because I've messed up more than you. That's why. I face so much of my own shit in my life, and that's what enables me to do the work that I do so that I can help you, because I've made a mess. Never mind that obviously I have wonderful angels and guides and spiritual helpers that help me channel, but I also teach a lot from my own experience. Anyway, so let's get another card. Let's get a final card. Let's pull one out from the Gateway of Light Activation. It's another deck I'm just absolutely bloody obsessed with. Okay, let's pull one out of here. And let's see what guidance is here for us in this week, please. Sword of Light, divine protection, cords cut, breakthrough energy. How apt. Okay, let's read out this message and let's see what we have. Okay, Sword of Light. It says here, when this card comes to you, know that it is confirmation that you're walking the path of light and responding to pre-incarnation soul contracts to make a difference on the planet. It's also a sign that you have the opportunity to sever connections to fears and limitations. We were just talking about that. Energetic cords bind us to situations, loved ones, and even the past. But you are in transition now and detaching from unnecessary connections, dramas, and fears. Know that there will be a great severing at this time, and you might feel isolated for a moment as you'll be reconfiguring your circle of trust and moving into a life that is in greater alignment with your highest good. Know that the cords that bind you to loved ones and soul family will remain intact. It's only the lower vibrational connections that are being severed. Expect breakthroughs and doors of opportunity opening for you. If you feel strongly connected to Archangel Michael, know that his energy is with you now. How beautiful and how apt is that? So, people, looks like quite a big transformative week for us. Remember to just show up, do what's in front of you, surrender the outcome to the divine, and you will be absolutely fine. So sending you all so much love. Thank you once again for being here, and thank you for liking and sharing and doing all the YouTube things that YouTube people do. Thank you and have an amazing week. Take care and keep well. Bye.